Welcome, everyone. It's time to get started. We're going to have our Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We are going to have our student representative from CAMS help us out with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Kyle.
Please stand and face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard you use the gavel, Madam President.
I felt it was warranted. And actually, all I had to do was raise my hand, and that would have been effective. Who knew?
As long as we're off the record, it's great to hear all those young voices in the Pledge of Allegiance. It's very heartening. Thanks for being here.
That's right.
So we welcome those who are here for purposes of addressing the board at the proper time and in the order of their request. For those who have not already submitted a request, we have provided forms in the back of the room and also have additional copies here in the front at the Assistant Secretary's position. If you wish to speak during the meeting, please fill out a form indicating your name and the agenda item you wish to address. You may also make a request to give testimony on an item not listed for discussion today. However, full discussion on any items not listed on the agenda will have to be delayed until such time as the item can be publicly posted in advance as a regular agenda item. If you wish to ask questions, please address them to the chair and not to individual members of the board or to the staff. The board has been meeting in closed session regarding matters listed on today's closed session agenda and wishes to report that no reportable actions were taken. Okay, public hearing. We will start with the charter renewal petition for Clear Passage Educational Center. So I will call up Viviana Trujillo.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Steinhauser, and executive leadership team. My name is Viviana Trujillo. I'm the executive director of Clear Passage Educational Center. Thank you for providing the opportunity to share information about CPEC this evening. In addition to my presentation, you will also hear from CPEC's board chairperson, Saul Saravia, and our lead instructor, Jeff Seiler. Clear Passage Educational Center is a WASC-accredited independent study charter school for students ages 14 to 19, grades 9 through 12. In partnership with local area agencies and schools, Clear Passage Educational Center serves as an alternative education program whose mission is to help students graduate, including students who may have dropped out or are at risk of doing so. We offer a nurturing yet challenging alternate learning environment for teens that may be in need of a high school diploma completion, college guidance, and career preparation services. Focusing on each student's unique strengths and needs, we offer flexible online courses via a blended instructional model that can be completed in CPEC's Learning Center or at home. Our goal is to increase the number of local area students who graduate, attend college, secure career training, and employment. I'd like to share with you a little about the students that we serve. Per California Department of Education guidelines, more than 70% of CPEC's total enrollment is comprised of high-risk groups. Given the high-risk profile of our students, our program model, and the size of our student enrollment, CPEC has received Dashboard Alternative School Status Certification from the California Department of Education. Many new enrollees arrive significantly credit deficient and with a history of severe absenteeism at their previous schools. Some have experienced family trauma that has significantly impacted their educational progress. Others may have dropped out of school because they had to work to support their families, care for siblings or their own children, help sick relatives, or they may be dealing with prior legal issues. Given the high-risk nature of our student population, the manner in which services are provided is critical to our student success. CPEC students receive instruction and academic support from highly qualified, site-based, and online subject matter teachers. CPEC's blended instructional model allows for flexible scheduling and increased student access to critical educational resources. Additional key services and resources that we offer include access to computers and technology center, mental health services via approved agencies, and career guidance and counseling. Having launched in the fall of 2015, our program has experienced much success over the past 3.5 years. CPEC has completed initial WASC review and received full accreditation in spring of 2018. We've increased our student enrollment. We've received Dashboard Alternative School Status certification. We've completed our annual fiscal audits. We've implemented standardized literacy assessments via STAR 360, and we strengthened our partnerships with UC and CSU local area universities and community-based organizations. I'd like to share additional information about our accomplishments. Since December 2015, CPEC has experienced steady growth from an original enrollment of 17 students to our current enrollment of 79 students. That represents a 365% increase in overall student enrollment. Another key accomplishment is CPEC's improved attendance. Given a second chance at attaining their academic and post-secondary goals, CPEC students have responded favorably to our blended learning model and flexible instructional schedule. With a current average attendance rate of 93%, CPEC students are demonstrating a renewed commitment to scholastic achievement. During the 2017-18 school year, CPEC has also launched its Progress Monitoring and Universal Screener initiative. With a focus on literacy, CPEC uses Renaissance's STAR 360 reading assessment to deliver pre, mid, and post-formative assessments to all students. Of 35 students with pre and mid STAR 360 reading assessment scores, 67% demonstrated measured growth toward college and career readiness expectations. As CPEC's enrollment has increased, student participation in benchmark testing has also increased by 46% plus from September 2016 to February 2019, and the data secured from these measures are used by CPEC's instructional team to provide individualized support to students. As mentioned earlier, students attending CPEC face many challenges, which makes the provision of behavioral health and social services a critical component of our program. CPEC incorporates a three-tiered approach when assessing student needs through the provision of universal, selective, and targeted interventions. Over the last 3.5 years, CPEC has significantly expanded its resource pool by establishing relationships with the following community-based agencies and organizations: Centro Cha, El Nido Family Centers, Alta Med Teen Programs, Long Beach Affordable Housing, the Probation Department, Pacific Asian Counseling Services, and the Long Beach Youth Services Network. At CPEC, we are gradually and systemically building a higher education and career exploration culture by supporting students in developing the confidence to pursue their post-secondary aspirations and the resilience to overcome challenges along the way. Through our college partnership program, CPEC has successfully established relationships with educational institutions and businesses over the past 3.5 years. Our partners include UCLA, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Dominguez Hills, Long Beach City College, the Leadership Academy Mentoring Program, and Wells Fargo. Thanks to the efforts of CPEC's board, leadership team, staff, students, parents, and community members, CPEC has been successful in attaining many of its benchmarks and goals over its first 3.5 years. We look forward to continuing to serve the students and parents of our community, and we thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Saul.
Good afternoon, and thank you, board members, for giving us the opportunity to share our success. My name is Saul Saravia, and I serve as the board chair for CPEC. And I'm one of the founding board members, and very happy to come back to you and report that we have this accreditation. We're very proud of this. We had a vision that we could establish a program that could serve some of the highest need students in our community. And we're able to realize that primarily because of the excellence of our instructional staff and the administrative leadership of our director, Ms. Trujillo, who you've met. In particular, you've heard her describe part of our model is about wrapping services around these youth and ensuring that they can focus on their educational achievements despite barriers that they're facing in their lives. I'm currently serving as the LA County chairperson for the Probation Reform and Implementation Team in LA County. And as you know, one of the target populations for educational attainment facing many barriers are youth coming out of our probation camps. And I'm proud to say that our model that Ms. Trujillo described to you provides some of not just the flexibility for folks who are just getting their second chance of their lives back on track, but also an opportunity for them to get the support that they need in making that transition, which is often missing. I'm also currently serving as an academic coordinator for the UCLA Institute for Research on Labor and Education. And part of our work at the university campus is also looking to support and sustain community-based programs, educational programs that allow everyone in our community, including those people whose life circumstance has made it so that their achievement of their educational goals might not fit into the traditional school schedule, can still have options. So we're very proud of the work that we're doing on the board. We're very proud of our staff, and we're very grateful to the support that we've had from Long Beach Unified. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jeff.
Hello. My name is Jeff Zeiler. I'm the lead teacher at Clear Passage Education. I have been there since the beginning. This is going on my 4th year. My background is in independent study and community day school. I enjoyed working in these environments, and I find myself appreciating giving these students a second opportunity at education and achieving their goals. When we began, as mentioned previously, we had a handful of students, and now we've built our school up to 79 students currently. With regards to growth, we did go through WASC, and it was an eye-opening experience. It helped us reflect and build our leadership program and to help better support these students. It is enjoyable for me working with students and seeing them excited about post-secondary school and looking towards the future. Working at CPEC, I've seen firsthand, we've going on field trips and so on and so forth, the impact of exposure to, again, Long Beach Community College, other educational endeavors. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak to you about this, and I look forward to growing even further in the future.
Thank you. Okay, so we will move on to Resolution 032719-A, considering argument for energy conservation services with LBUSD Solar Fund, LLC pursuant to Government Code Section 4217, 10-18, making certain findings required for approval of energy conservation services agreement. I believe, yes. Mr. Leahy.
Good evening, Mr. Superintendent, staff, board members. Audience. I'd like to go through and I welcome this public hearing for the purchase of a power purchase agreement, which is an agreement for an independent party to provide power to our district at no cost for the installation and a guaranteed price for the power over a 25-year term without any acceleration in those costs. We are currently paying about 22 cents per kilowatt hour to Edison, and the new agreement will be at 14.95 cents. And we have a few sites that have liquefaction in the soil, and those will be at 15.135 cents. We are looking forward to starting this project as soon as possible. The process started over a year ago. And in that process, we had six firms that came in and talked to us. 2 firms bid on the project, and we picked IMCOR Standard Solar. And the IMCOR Standard Solar agreement is going to be the LBUSD Solar Fund, LLC. They formed a partnership for this particular project. Unlike what we've done in the past, we have a master agreement, and like we do with the architecture agreements that we have that come to you for facilities, and then we have amendments to those agreements, and so everything is bundled under one master agreement, which each site being handled separately. We will have the solar projects a little bit unlike what we had at the high school, so that we're particular to parking lots. Will be parking lots as well as sport fields areas and hard surface areas on the school sites to provide shade at schools where we don't have shade. These schools were legitimately picked the way they were picked because of the needs of the school and the fact that the schools were sized large enough and had the electrical need that a beneficial project could be put in for both the provider and the district. The equipment itself will not be on a lease. It will be on an easement, which means that the provider can come and take care of their equipment, but we don't have that part of our school leased out to a private firm. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain some questions.
And Madam President, for the folks in the audience who are going to watch us, I can list the schools who are the 21 schools. So Lincoln Elementary, Whittier Elementary, Signal Hill Elementary, Hamilton Middle School, Franklin Middle School, Burbank Elementary, Adams Elementary, Edison Elementary, Lindbergh Middle School, Gant Elementary, Hart Elementary, U.S. Grant Elementary, Chavez Elementary, Powell Academy for Success, which is a K-8 school, Roosevelt, Newcomb K-8, Smith, Nelson Academy, which is a middle school, Alvarado Elementary, Cleveland Elementary, and Marshall Academy of the Arts, which is a middle school. So this is a project that we've been looking at, and hopefully we'll do more in the future, but these are 21 that we're very excited and long overdue. So.
And did you mention the percentage maybe in savings or energy that this will provide for those schools listed?
I did not, but what we're anticipating with an 85% production rate from the provider and some inflation by the utility companies over the course of the 25 years, that is just in the neighborhood of $26 million that'll be cost avoidance back to the district. In addition to that, we are going to have about 120,000 metric tons of CO that is not going through and being emitted to the air as a result of a fossil fuel power plant. That in and of itself is equivalent to 26,000 cars that would be taken off the road, or the planting of 2 million trees. I prefer the 2 million trees. I breathe easier that way, and I think we all do.
Yeah. So it's more than just a cost savings, it's a real savings to the environment.
It certainly is, and once the equipment is in, with the exception of what they call inverters, changing the power from AC to DC, if people know anything about electricity, it is really a passive operative system. So nothing really is moving, and it just continues to work and work and work.
Okay, are there any further questions?
I just want to say, Les, I'm really impressed with the fact that you can come up and present all those facts without reading anything. But you did a very good job, Les.
Thank you.
Good work, Les.
Thank you.
A few questions, Les. So what happens, how is our relationship with Edison impacted or not with this? How's that going to work moving forward?
Right now, all the utilities, it doesn't matter if they're San Diego Gas and Electric, Edison, or PG&E, are all regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission, and those regulations change year over year. But when we get into the agreements with these companies, it will be the rate structure will change, but what we sign up for is the fact that they're buying power back from us at the price that we would pay. And as we go forward, these things will mitigate. They're going to always try. The PUC has to allow the utilities to be profitable, to stay in business. So there'll be some things that change along the way. But the benefit right now is to the people that have solar. And you'll see people adding to that as we move forward with batteries to the solar so they can use it in later hours. They've shifted the demand time from 4 to 9, which is a little bit different. So when you go home, don't do your laundry or your dishes, right, when you go home. And it benefits us during the course of the day for what they call peak demand during the summer months.
And just one technical question, and then I'll allow Board Member Felton Williams to comment or question. So can you talk a little bit less about, so how much power will the solar panels actually generate versus the need at the respective schools and the nuances behind that?
What we try to do is we try to set up the power to be either 80% or 50%. If we have air conditioning at the school, it's 50% of what the need is. If we don't have air conditioning at the school, it's 80%, because when we put the air conditioning in, it will, thank you, it will drop that back down. We do that specifically because we do not want to be power producers, because it's a whole different rate structure and a lot more criteria. So what we want to do is we want to be power users, and we want to use almost everything that we generate for our needs. Of course, that only works Monday through Friday when school's in, and we still produce on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays.
Les, for those schools that already have solar panels, like Cabrillo High School and some of our other schools, how does that configure into this new agreement, or does it not configure into it?
It does not configure into it. We have 3 schools out there, Cabrillo, Lakewood, and Milliken, all that have power purchase agreements, and those are standalone. Each one of those schools is a standalone agreement. We also have solar, and nobody ever sees this, at McBride High School on the roof, because that roof is a metal roof, and it's in the flutes of the metal roof itself.
Okay.
So I see we have a lot of environmental justice folks in the audience. But I'm also curious too. Can you talk a little bit about any expected challenges in moving forward with the project and implementation, Les?
One of the biggest challenges that we're going to have, we do have 13 sites that we've preliminarily identified as with the possibility of liquefaction. We see that when we do any of the construction out there today, it takes some extra work on footings. After that, we're good. We just have to engineer the footings properly so we can get through the Department of State Architect and put up something that's going to be safe and live the life of the project.
And we still own, this isn't a lease-back agreement?
No.
Okay.
No. There's a possibility of a buyout at the end of the project, or the provider, if they just want to walk away and give us the project, they could do that too. Let's see how benevolent they are at the end.
Yeah. Great work, Les.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Call for, all right. Call for agenda items for separate action, adoption of the agenda.
So move, Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, before we,
I have a
Oh,
correction.
Chris interrupting here, huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So on the personnel report on page 13, this is listing the abolishments. We have 2 job developer positions that were listed for abolishment, both at Tucker, the Tucker site. We receive funding on Friday, so those abolishments do not need to go forth. So I respectfully ask that when you vote, it would be with all the other ones with the exception of those two. And then under new business for the board schedule for board meetings next year, under workshops, it should say March 17, 18, 2020, and not 2019. Okay, so I respectfully ask that you vote on those two changes.
Mr.
Superintendent.
Superintendent, on the abolishments, I'm going to read the personnel report, and it's showing a certain number.
Yeah, so
You
those
said-
two do not need to go forth.
So I need to change that.
You
from-
could say, right,
One-
so -2,
So one still, okay.
-2.
And can you repeat the dates, Superintendent, on the
Yes.
changes
Under
for
the-
the board meeting schedule?
Yes, under the workshop, the last one is March 17, 18, it says 2019.
Oh, got it.
It would be 2020.
20, got
We've
it.
already passed, so.
Okay, so was there a motion?
Move approval?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Approval of minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Communications. Dr. Williams, do you want to make some introductions?
Yes, Madam Chair, and thank you very much. I want to recognize two individuals who served as dynamic speakers at our recent African American History Month celebration. I want to call up first Mr. Joseph Rice. Mr. Rice, can you step up to the microphone? We want to present these individuals with certificates of appreciation. Mr. Rice, first and foremost, want to thank you for that wonderful presentation you did on African American History Month. Based on your life's experiences, particularly as you talked about your experience in the military. As my colleague here, President Diana Craighead, stated, when you mentioned how much thrust it takes to get a plane in the air, and then once you get that plane in the air, it can ride the airwaves from that point forward, and liken that to the burdens that we carry as individuals, but we just need to get through the initial thrust, all right? I want to thank you very much for that. I have a certificate here for you. I'm going to read the certificate, and then I'm going to have you come around and shake our hands. You can go back to the microphone and make any comments that you want to make, but you got to keep them under 5 minutes. All right. Mr. Joseph Rice, for your presentation and significant contribution to our 2019 Black History Month celebration, signed by all of our board members. We want to thank you on behalf of all of our board members. You just take a moment to come on around and, Mr. Rice.
Thanks, Mr. Rice. Good seeing you.
Mr. Rice, we know as you're walking back to the podium, we know that your daughter invited you here, your daughter Joy, who works, staff member in the district. So, any comments you want to make now, Mr. Rice?
First of all, I say I have 3 daughters there.
Oh, okay.
That's my youngest one, this is the next one, and this is the next one here. Amen. I would just want to say that since protocol has already been established, and to Dr. Williams and the powers that be, thank you for allowing me and my name to be intruded into your session here this afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to share with you some of my experiences in the military, and particularly in the Air Force. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Now I'd like to ask Dion Taylor to step up to the podium. Zion. Zion Taylor. Zion, you did a wonderful portrayal of a very famous person, Miss Katherine Johnson, who was the African-American human computer who meticulously performed the simulation input with a calculator to verify the data that was run on the main computer that resulted in the successful space orbit by astronaut John Glenn. The orbit was deemed critical to the space race between the Russians and the United States. Let me just take a moment to read something, and then I'm going to ask you a favor, okay? For the entire project to succeed, each individual part of the mission, the hardware, the software, and the human, had to function according to plan. A breakdown would be immediate and potentially tragic and broadcast live on television. But Katherine Johnson, like John Glenn, was not prone to panic. Like him, she had already gone through a simulation of the job in front of her. The moment that had arrived, despite the time pressure and the frenzy of surrounding her, felt somehow inevitable. Katherine Johnson's life had always seemed to be guided by a kind of providence, one that was unseen by others and not fully understood by her perhaps, but obeyed by all who knew her, the way one obeys the laws of physics. Katherine organized herself immediately at her desk, growing phone book thick stacks of data sheets a number at a time, blocking out everything except the labyrinth of trajectory equations. Instead of sending her numbers to be checked by the computer, Katherine now worked in reverse, running the same simulation input that the computer received through her calculator, hoping that there would be very good agreement between her answers and the computer, just as had been the case when she originally ran the numbers for the azimuth angle report. She worked through every minute of what was programmed to be a 3-orbit mission, coming up with numbers for 11 different output variables, each computed to 8 significant digits. It took a day and a half of watching the tiny digits pile up eye-numbing, disorienting work. At the end of the task, every number on the stack of paper she produced matched the computer's output. The computer's wit matched hers. The pressure might have been buckled a lesser individual, but no one was more up to the task than Katherine Johnson. And my question is, why did you want to use Katherine Johnson as your model?
Because she, even though people were like treating her not with respect, she still kept doing her job and she didn't let anything get in her way, and that's why I chose her.
Would you do me a favor? Could you repeat that rendition you did for us of Katherine Johnson?
Yes. There is no bathroom. There are no colored bathrooms in this building or any building outside the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself, and I can't use one of the handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison, my uniform, skirt below my knees, my heels, and a simple string of pearls. Well, I don't own pearls. Lord knows you don't pay colors enough to afford pearls. And I'll work like a dog, day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch. So excuse me if I have to go to the restroom a few times a day. That's the thing I said to my boss when he asked me why it takes so long to go to the restroom.
Well done.
You're amazing.
Catherine, it is, Zion. Zion, don't sit down, don't sit down. Don't sit down. Ray, could you give her the microphone again? Is there anything you want to add to what you've already done? Anything you want to say?
No.
My last question for you is, what school do you attend?
Bernie Elementary.
Okay, and do you have plans to go on to college or anything of that nature?
Not me. Yes.
Zion, again, the presentation you did was from a scene from the movie where she was talking to her coworkers and feeling very frustrated by the treatment she was receiving from all the people that she was working with. And she was the only African-American woman in a room full of males who had a very difficult time of adjusting to her presence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Zion, again, thank you so much for that wonderful job you did.
Thank you.
And I know that her immediate plans include Marshall Middle School. So for the powers that be in this room, right? To the powers that be in this room, Zion would like to attend Marshall. Just want to put that out there. And we could only follow that up with another group of kids, because no adult would like to follow that one. So, what?
All of this is being recorded on cable TV and will be broadcast on channels 96, channel 35, and channel 47. I was asked to make that announcement.
Okay. And online.
And online.
And online, yes. So now we will have the 2019 Grades of Green Waste campaign. And so I'd like to ask Karen Wasinger. Thank you, I heard that from somebody. And I know we have our Rogers Green team and our Hughes Airbenders, and I remembered.
Hi, I'm Danielle Vandervoort. I'm a science teacher at Hughes Middle School. I'm Karen Wasinger, teacher librarian at Keller Middle School and Lindbergh Middle School.
Maribel Nunez, a science teacher at Keller Middle School.
And I'm Pamela Weinstein, an English and Green Team teacher at Rogers.
Yes, we were here a few months ago, the Rogers and Hughes teams, and we picked a perfect night to come, it seems. 2 months ago, we were presenting on our findings on air quality, and these kids just wanted more to do, so we wanted to thank you, our superintendent, our executive staff, and our board members. Thank you for having us again. After our presentation last time, Mr. Benita said, wouldn't it be great if we had a survey done to find out all the green activities taking place around the district? Well, we did that for you, and we are here to present our findings. We'd also like to thank Elisa Calderon, who's here from the City of Long Beach Environmental Services, Kathy Procopio from the Grades of Green, and Linda Simpkins, who's here from Food Finders. So we have some distinguished guests, and we will now let the kids take it away.
Hi, I'm Dia. We are the Airbenders from Hughes Middle School, and you already know we are in Long Beach. We go to a Green Ribbon School. We've been recognized for our environmental commitment by the City Council of Long Beach. We are a group of students who want to help our environment for the greater good.
Hi, I am Olivia. We are here to ask the Long Beach Unified School District to develop a district-wide waste reduction plan. Hi, I'm Emma. So what is waste reduction? Waste can be reduced in 3 different ways. For example, it can be reduced by source reduction. This means to stop waste at its source so less waste is discarded. We can also reduce waste by using waste sorting. This means to sort waste into what can be donated, recycled, or composted. Lastly, we can reduce waste by employing guidelines so resources are used to the full extent.
Hi, I'm Grace. Did you know, according to the Assembly Bill 341, schools that make more than 4 cubic yards of waste a week are legally required to recycle? And did you know that according to the Assembly Bill 1826, that starting on January 1st, 2019, schools that make more than 4 cubic yards of waste must arrange for organic waste recycling? We are concerned that the Long Beach Unified School District is not following these laws, which are in place to protect our environment and us.
According to Cal Recycle, the reason behind these laws is to cut down the greenhouse gases that cause global warming. The laws are also designed to find a better way to handle waste than trashing it. Recycling makes waste into something we can use again. Lunch sorting collects unwanted food for donation to hungry people, and organic sorting allows compostable things like fruit and vegetable scraps to be composted into fertilizer.
Hi, I'm Scarlett. We have been researching to see if other districts near us have a waste reduction plan so we can see what they do and become like them. We so far have found 4 school districts: Redondo Beach, Culver City, Manhattan Beach, and Los Angeles. The Redondo Beach School District has done some amazing stuff. For example, they have a green team and lunch sorting stations in every school. They also have district-wide assemblies and surveys aimed to inspire students to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Their district-wide plan has allowed them to reduce their trash by 21%. The Culver City School District has a district-wide program called Green 5 that teaches all students and staff the 5 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, ride, and rethink. This program has allowed them to reduce their trash by 50%.
Hi, I'm Kylie Y. Manhattan Beach Unified is another district with a waste reduction plan. In their elementary schools, they have a lunch program that reduces a large percentage of waste and saves them thousands of dollars a year in the process. Of the small amount of waste that the schools do make, most of it is turned into energy instead of getting sent to rot in a landfill. But the question is, how can we as a big district accomplish the goal of reducing waste? It turns out that LEOSD, the second largest school district in the country, has a full waste reduction plan. Employees are educated on how to reduce waste throughout all of the different parts of their schools. They aim to minimize their amount of waste going in landfills by 70% by 2020. If they can do it, why not us?
Hi, I'm Kylie D. Individual schools have made efforts toward making their school greener by participating in the Grades of Green's annual trash-free lunch competition and other organizations. There are also a lot of green ribbon schools like Longfellow, Los Cerritos, Hughes, Twain, Rogers, Lowell, and Franklin.
We like to think, after all the research, we believe Long Beach Unified Schools District is ready for a district-wide waste reduction plan.
We'd like to thank our sources shown here.
Hello, my name is Lily, and I'm introducing the Helen Keller Green Team. At our school, we have 2 lunch sorting areas to sort, recycle, and compost lunch waste, which has reduced our trash by 82%. We have saved over 2,730 bags of trash from going to the landfill. We have donated over 2,160 pounds of food to food finders, and we have composted 110 gallons of fruit and veggie scraps. We've learned to use our voices and advocate for meaningful change in our schools.
Hello, my name is Bree, and I'm here to talk about the current district policy. Right now, there's no standardized recycling plan in place, and schools are on their own to develop waste reduction programs. The district only provides trash cans, dumpsters, and service for trash, and also the district provides funds to pay 2.5 hours per week of recycling support, only to schools that organize their own recycling plan and only after submitting a request.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm here to introduce you to Food Finders. They collect unopened, uneaten food donated by students during meal times. They keep good food out of the trash and reduce our waste. Donations make room for actual trash and save us on tipping costs. It also reduces food instability by giving food to people who need it.
Hi, my name is Jayla.
and we have made a huge impact on the environment. We have prevented 167,389 pounds of food waste in the past year. And that's with only 22 schools donating on a regular weekly basis. That prevented 144,260 kilograms of greenhouse gases from polluting our environment, which would equal to 35 years of energy consumption for a 3-person household.
Hi, my name is Alina, and I'm going to be talking about what the City of Long Beach provides for free. They provide purple recycling carts or metal recycling bins and services. They also provide backyard compost and classroom vermicomposting bins. They provide a school walkthrough to help school identify opportunities to improve recycling, cleanup in the box and schoolyard cleanups, and assemblies focused on waste reduction and recycling for grades K to 5.
Hi, I'm Felicity.
And I'm Bria.
And here is a proposal on what we can do.
First, we can create a systematic recycling and sustainability plan for the whole district. Schools right now have put in place plans that reduce their waste by 80% or more. So copy what works and apply it district-wide.
Next, we can work with the City of Long Beach Environmental Services Bureau to put that plan in place.
We can provide custodial carts with 2 compartments for waste and recycling. You want to get these carts because oftentimes recycling gets thrown away, and the purple bins are too difficult to carry around.
Also, we can provide custodial teacher and staff training with the benefits of waste reduction and proper recycling.
And lastly, we can work with the cafeterias district-wide to donate and compost kitchen food. Thank you.
I'm Olivia Lopez,
And I'm Celeste Moya.
and this is why we should do this. The amount of school waste that can be recycled is estimated by the Long Beach Environmental Services Department to be as much as 60%. Based on last year's cost for district waste, a district-wide waste reduction program could save over $150,000 or more a year, not including the $100,000 or more in cost of trash bags.
It is also required by the law and the right thing to do for our community and environment as a whole.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Annika Karakas. I'm the Vice President of Rogers Middle School Green Team. In 2017, Rogers earned the California Green Ribbon on the gold level, and we were honored by the Long Beach Mayor and City Council. We rescued 1,756 pounds of share food for food finders in 2018, which saved 3,340 pounds of carbon dioxide, or enough electricity for 135 days for one household. Recently, we sent out a survey to see which schools had green activities, and as of March 26th, only 35 out of those 84 schools have responded to our survey. Out of those 35 schools, only half of those schools have sorting stations, which means that the other half of those schools are not diverting their waste. 16 schools collect and sort cans and bottles, and 5 schools collect recycling from their community. And then there's a link to the survey results. These are one of the 2 questions on the survey. So 74% of schools wanted to help for improving sustainability, and 9 schools have sorting stations with no one working at them. 13 schools have sorting stations with students working at them, and the other 13 schools don't have sorting stations at all.
Okay, hi, my name is Penny Radich, and I'm a team leader, and this is our proposed sustainability plan. Our first part of our plan is to have academic support for all students. This is from the NGSS Connections from Next Generation Science Standards. Some of these include human impacts on Earth systems and Earth and human activity from the consumption of natural resources impact on Earth. There's also additional standards for elementary and high schools, and we would like the district to have systematic sorting instructions to all school. And right now in science class, I'm learning about climate change and how it affects the planet. And recently I went to Pali Outdoor School and we learned even more about the environment. So we hope that each student can have an opportunity like this. And we also would like a green team or elective at every school. And we would also like an elective class code. Right now at Rogers, it is called Social Responsibility, and at Hughes, Forensic Science. And we would like to educate people about waste reduction, the environment, and its impact to future generations. And we would like station workers at the stations to help sort, and we will move the purple bins to the streets and receive them for the green team.
Hello, my name is Harper Hogan, and another component to our plan is easy sorting at every school. We want schools to contact Grades of Green for simplified training and sorting. at every school. Grades of Green saves thousands of dollars and helped our school reduce 90% of lunch waste and 55% of overall campus waste. We also need students to communicate with their families about reducing single-use items in lunches, which is important for sustained reduction. Our sorting stations have purple bins for recyclables, blue bins for cans and bottles, and share bins for unopened food that goes to food finders. We also want schools to have cans and bottles bins which are free from CR&R, and with CR&R we make $800 every 6 months. The only thing the schools need to provide are clear bags for sorting. Our green team collects and sorts the recycling once a week.
Hi, I'm Zoe Christensen, and a big part of our plan is to have purple bins or cardboard dumpsters at every school. Our city, Long Beach, will provide multiple purple bins for free. And that helps because 78% of all schools' waste is recyclable. Cardboard bins will also help to divert waste, and this process reduces tipping fees significantly and will save the district thousands of dollars. Another part of our plan is to have a recycling aid at every school. Our aid assists with purple bins, sorting stations, and other green team activities, like making sure our stations are ready before we work. It is important to have consistent help on campus. Maybe recreational aids can help with recycling too.
Hi, I'm Vivian Hall. I'm the president of Rogers Green Team, and we also want district nutrition and cafeteria support. We want food finders in all schools as a policy, and we want to limit the plastic packaging on things, like a pump system instead of condiment packets, sporks without wrappers, and removal of vending machines. Most of all the trash I see fly by me at lunch is usually from the cafeteria and from vending machines. We also want custodial changes. Right now at our school, we only have a section for trash. And when the custodian goes around each class to collect recycling as well, there's no place to sort it. And with adding a recycling bin, this will cut our waste in half, which also contributes to less tipping fees. So thank you guys for listening. We know our plan will lead to substantial and immediate savings, but to do this, we need district support and organization. We also need an employee to organize and support schools, and these systematic changes will help when volunteers and students promote, like people working at lunch. With this happening at all schools, students will always know what to do when they go to middle school or high school. So, thank you.
So thank you all very much. If we could have all the teams come up here, but we are asking for your participation as the board and executive staff, superintendent. We would like to know who wants to meet with, maybe not all these children, but maybe just the adults. All right, awesome. Look at all these hands. Awesome. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. Okay, are we getting a photo?
And
So
yes,
we'd like to have all three teams head up here and either have a seat or kneel down up here, and then we'll take the picture from this direction.
Okay, back row, standing on that step there. Shield. Good. Okay.
Felton, I think you're going to have to scoot over a bit.
Your future's in good hands.
That's the impression I'm getting. Look at our superintendent being a photographer instead of being in the picture.
Loves this. Hey, how are you? Twitter, say Twitter. There you go.
Oh my God.
Pam, thank you all.
Thank you for that presentation. Yeah. Well done, well done. I know. I don't know. High five? Are we high fiving? Are we fist bump? I don't know. You guys are really good. We'll work something out.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, everybody. Yeah, careful. Nice job. Really good presentation.
Good job. Thank you so
Everybody
much.
obviously worked hard on that. It's impressive.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. It's really our pleasure.
Good job, young lady.
Yes. Great job.
Good job. Here, lady.
Yeah. Good job.
Good job. Good job. Good work. How much blood on her? Good job.
Okay.
Can you say something before they leave?
You better hurry because they're out the door.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I think they're.
Hello, hello. Hello.
They're saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Just wanted to just make a quick comment about your presentation. To see all of you so engaged at this early age into conservation efforts is really overwhelming. It says a lot about our future, particularly as we look at the changing conditions of our world. To know that we've got young folks who are so dedicated to making sure that we improve on things is very heartwarming, and we really want to thank each and every one of you for what you're doing and your commitment to sustaining this planet. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Madam
Okay.
President, if I could just
Yes.
add three quick things, and it's okay if they're trickling out.
I think they are.
First is I want my first grade daughter to grow up to be an environmental advocate like we had here today. I think if anyone that was here listening to this and anyone's watching at home, if you want to take some tips on how you come make a board presentation and make recommendations, you saw it right there. And then lastly, Mr. Superintendent, I would ask if we could, put this in a future board agenda to look into developing a waste reduction plan once you get a chance to meet. And
We'll set up a committee and then we'll bring it back.
yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
If I may add too, let's not miss the fact that we have a crescendo of young people who believe in science in a nation where many of our leaders decry the world of science.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, and with that, we'll move on. So, public testimony on items listed on the agenda. We have one request. Mr. Hubbard? Miss, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Somebody's going to have to help me out with the first name because I'm not sure. Well, I'll have the speaker help with the name.
Good afternoon, Board of Education. My name is Dejanero Hubbard, just like Rio. I am one of the employees affected by the abolishment of positions in the Head Start program due to the lack of funding. You have heard from the Head Start administrative staff, but I am the face of the classified staff that will be affected. Here are some thoughts to ponder. First and foremost, I am a product of the Head Start program. I'm overly qualified for my position, but more importantly, I am a product of the Long Beach Unified School District because I'm a Long Beach Poly graduate. I've stayed in my position for years because I believe in the services that we provide to our least and our most economically disadvantaged families and students. And if we are approved for the grant, my two questions are, the positions that have been abolished, will those positions be rescinded? And number two, if those positions are rescinded, the employees that you have currently in the Head Start program, will they have to recompete with outside individuals, or will they just be presented their positions back, as well as the employees that we know that are gone due to the reduced funding? Just to consider, I know that we're moving towards Educare, but there still is quality and product in the Head Start program, because Head Start looks at the strengths and needs of all of our families. And from another percentage, they don't do that. So as we move forward, please just, when you speak with administrative staff, think about how it would affect the people in the city of Long Beach that are economically disadvantaged, that most people don't understand because they come from places of trauma with dysfunctional activities that we, as most of us have probably been blessed to understand, we have homes to go to. But we're looking at the homeless capacity and everything else that our city is dealing with as we move to the next generation. Thank you, Board of Education.
Thank you. So there were a couple of questions in there, Mr. Superintendent. There were a couple of questions in there about.
Yeah, so first of all,
grant.
the Head Start grant, as of right now, we do not know if we have it. That's why all those positions are there. And the Head Start program, if we are to be funded, will be different next year because the Head Start program is requiring all-day programs, and we're servicing, where we're adding seats are the younger program. So not all positions will come back because there will be fewer positions to be served, to be very honest with you. But we won't know for another 6 weeks, and there's a process we go through with classified personnel as well as certificated personnel and bringing individuals back, so.
Okay, thank you. Staff report, we have none. Public testimony on items not listed on the agenda. We have quite a stack, so I will remind everybody that it's a 3-minute limit, and please adhere to that. Our first speaker is Wendy Garcia.
Good evening, Long Beach Board of Education and Superintendent Steinhauser. We are from Long Beach Jordan High School, and we are part of the Sex Ed Heal Zone project for our Aspiration in Medical Sciences program, also known as AIMS Academy. We believe it is necessary to distribute and have condoms available in our biology classes and the wellness center and also the nurse's office without question. One of the many reasons we believe it is necessary to have the contraceptive available and how it would benefit students is that it would help protect our community health for the future. Many STDs can create problems with the human well-being, and certain diseases can even affect the internal organs. For example, if a student contracts syphilis and does not get it treated in time, it can cause cardiac, neural, and internal organ problems. Based on the research we have discovered, the more than 70% of high school sexual active students are prohibited from receiving condoms. Given the research that we found each day, more than 25,000 American youth receive an STI and more than 2,000 become pregnant, and in addition, as many as 55% of the previous number contact HIV. In Long Beach alone, we have the second highest rate of chlamydia and gonorrhea. Chlamydia rates have risen in Long Beach area about 88% since 2013. From the 2017 research, HIV and AIDS have shot up by 12% to 14%.
As of 2017 in Long Beach, there has been 4,321 cases of chlamydia reported and 1,690 cases of gonorrhea reported. But keep in mind there are still cases unreported, which means there could be a higher rate of chlamydia and gonorrhea. This is why we believe it is important for high schools to provide condoms to students. It'll lower the percentage of chlamydia and gonorrhea, and it'll lower the teen pregnancy rate. And there's always a case in which students do not feel safe enough to talk about these things with parents or others. So we want to make sure that school is a safe place they can come to protect themselves without question. Our intent is to revise health education curriculum for sex education to include valuable resources high school students need to have access to on our high school campuses. We really hope you take our proposal into consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
students would like to request an audience with you in order to discuss this matter further. If you'd like to reach out, please let us know.
Thank you. Thank you. The next speaker is Maribel Nunez.
Hello again. We meet again from Green Team. I'm coming here introducing myself also as a student from Cal State Long Beach, and I'm also a Keller teacher, a science teacher at Keller Middle School. My team and I are here today because we all aspire to become dual language teachers that can contribute to this wonderful program that we have going on here at Long Beach Unified. We'd also like this opportunity to share some of our research findings from our project on DI schools in the Long Beach Unified School District. There are 5 elementary DI schools across the district, and Keller is the only DI middle school. Since Keller opened, enrollment has grown every year, and the trend is projected to continue. In addition, a large percentage of students have shown interest in continuing their dual language education at the high school level. Just last year, 90% of Keller 8th graders took the AP Spanish language exam, and 90% passed it. And 50% of those who passed got a 4 or 5. However, there isn't a standard process or plan for the placement of these students after 8th grade, so they can continue to advance in dual language. When our students go to high school, most are placed in the Spanish for Spanish Speakers 7-8 course, which is roughly 2 years below the level they should be taking. In other words, they are required to repeat 2 years worth of content in 9th and 10th grade that they already covered in middle school. This doesn't make any sense. For instance, if a student takes algebra in 8th grade with a passing grade, they wouldn't be asked to repeat the same course in high school. Instead, they would be moved on to the next level math course. So why is this continuum not followed for the language curriculum, especially when they have already demonstrated that they have the skills by passing the final AP exam? Keller students should be able to advance in their language curriculum, just as they're able to do in their math courses. So when headed to high school, why not start them off with a Spanish literature class? Why not explore options to connect with the community, internships, or city colleges to continue language courses at their advanced levels? More needs to be offered to them. There needs to be an alternative, especially when we think about all the money that is invested into getting materials, the right teachers, training, and certifications. Kids, parents, and teachers have invested so much of their own time, effort, and money into the 13-year DI program, only to then have students bumped back in high school and repeat 2 years of curriculum just because there are no alternatives in place. How does that make any sense? I propose that as a district, we come up with a better plan for DI students transitioning to high school. We welcome to the start of a conversation to determine and plan proper placement to enable continued growth and advancement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker, Jerica Jenkins.
That's me. Hi, good evening, Superintendent Steinhauser, Madam President, board members, and staff. As a former student and graduate of Long Beach Unified School District, go Lancers, I can personally attest to the amount of dedication and hard work that teachers, school administrators, and staff invest into creating programs that support the success of their over 70,000 students. It comes as no surprise that year after year, Long Beach Unified continues to be recognized for its excellence and innovation. One needn't look any further than your dual immersion program. Despite previous discourse of the detriments of bilingual education, Long Beach Unified's dual immersion programs continue to provide evidence in the contrary. Not only are our students succeeding in 2 languages, they are thriving. At both the elementary and middle school level, dual immersion students are exceeding district and state academic achievement levels in the English language arts and math. As part of my research, I decided to focus on the role of assessment in dual language immersion. Specifically, I focused on measuring academic language proficiency in Spanish. Popular research emphasizes the role of assessments. They serve as a measure and demonstration of what students have or have not learned in given content areas. Considering that students come from varied linguistic and educational backgrounds, assessing academic progress in both English language arts and Spanish language arts is essential. I believe that this will further student proficiency in both target languages while serving as a base from which strong academic language can develop. Furthermore, cross-referencing data from both languages can provide a more meaningful, holistic view of student progress. Yet, in my research, I wasn't able to find information on the district's current practices concerning standardized Spanish language assessments outside of advanced placement exams. However, there are several standardized examinations that focus on English language proficiency, such as CASP and SBAC. Without a proficiency assessment in Spanish, how do teachers really know how their students are doing? It is my hope today that the district can take this matter into consideration, continuing to support the success of our dual immersion students. Thank you.
Thank you. Dulcinea?
Good evening. My name is Dulcinea Lua, and I am a credentialed student at Cal State Long Beach, obtaining a bilingual authorization in Spanish. I am currently taking a course in Latino education in the United States. I have done some basic research on Proposition 58, English proficiency and multilingual education. The purpose of this research is to contribute to the knowledge and understanding of how dual language immersion programs are being implemented and designed. Proposition 58 authorizes school districts to establish dual immersion programs and integrate students from diverse backgrounds. Bixby Elementary School just opened and more than 100 families applied and only 60 students got spots in the program. This brings to mind how students are being selected. Are students properly being selected to establish dual language immersion programs for both native and non-native English speakers? Research shows that language acquisition is more successful when it begins at an early age. However, there's not enough schools in the district that offer dual language and multicultural education programs to meet the current demand. Today, we live in a multicultural society, and we're competing globally. Every student deserves the opportunity to become bilingual. In addition, this will satisfy the increasing demand for the program, and it will allow all students to have the opportunity to become bilingual. Thank you.
Thank you. Alma?
Hello, I'm Alma Vanessa Acuña. I'm also a current student at CSULB. As part of my research, I have looked into the curriculum resources provided to dual immersion schools. So I have looked and I saw that dual immersion schools use Common Core en Español and the Next Generation Science Standards. Common Core was adopted in 2010 by California, and NGSS was adopted in 2013. After looking at the LBUSD K-12 core content textbook list for 2018 through 2019, I noticed some of the publication dates for some of the textbooks. For reading language arts, I noticed that for K through 5th, the date is 2017. For math, for K through 8, the date of publication is 2017. I noticed that these textbooks are actually published after the Common Core and NGSS were adopted by California. Upon further research, I continued looking and I saw that for history, social studies, and for science, the textbooks were published before Common Core and NGSS. For history, social studies, for K through 5th, I noticed the year was 2007, 2008, and for 6th through 8, it was around the same time, 2007, 2008. For science, I saw that for K through 5th, it was 2008, and for 6th through 8, it was 2007. So my question to the district tonight is, how are we as a district, I'm trying to be a teacher, so I also want to know what we can do to help students. How can we provide the textbooks for history, social studies, and for science that are actually going to follow Common Core and NGSS standards and not the previous standards that were published in 1998? And also, is a teacher from each dual immersion school going to be in the textbook adoption committee? Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Valeska?
Good evening. My name is Valeska Roman, and I'm a graduate student at Cal State Long Beach. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address you tonight on the important topic of dual immersion. As part of our Chicano Studies research class, we have done basic research in conducting interviews in which they have provided information regarding dual immersion students entering high school, not being able to express themselves in vernacular and academic Spanish. This basic research suggests that dual immersion programs that support the students' bicultural identities and not just their bicultural vocabulary will be the most successful, increasing their engagements with the program. To that end, we would like to suggest that the school board review the opportunities to increase the degree to which of its dual immersion educational program access students' bicultural identities. Given the political situation in our nation today, opportunities to debate current events of importance of students in Spanish will be one important way to address the access their bicultural identities. One method of doing so will be to conduct debates in Spanish. This helps the students not only articulate themselves using Spanish academic language, but also to gain confidence in learning how to express themselves on topic of pressing concerns to them. We are also aware that the district has already implemented performing art programs in several of their schools. However, if these programs can extend to include more drama, music, poetry, compositions, and recitation activities, in which are also proven ways to increase students' engagement. These programs will help students' expressions of their culture. We encourage you to consider increasing the role of performance art in the dual immersion classrooms. In programs where teachers struggle with students' expressions, we feel that an emphasis on performance art and establishing debate Spanish teams art will be an effective remedy to this commonly expressed problem. We believe these simple steps like these can enhance the value students see in dual immersion programs, especially at the secondary school level. I hope you can address our questions and concerns that me and my group are very interested in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Angie.
I think this is the hardest spot to be in. It's a lot easier to address third graders. My name is Angie Pluma. Good evening, board members. I'm a 17th year teacher for the Los Angeles Unified School District, and in continuing my development as a teacher, I too am taking courses that can help educate me in my profession. I think it's crucial that we continue to staff the appropriate teachers in this type of dual language position, and keeping in consideration all the needs that the professional needs to teach that position. So I'm standing here more on behalf of the teacher, and irrelevant of the district that I work for, we're all in the service of servicing students. So making sure that we have qualified teachers that are strong, not just with credentialing, but with the command of the language that they're teaching, professional development that keeps them up to date with the demands of the program to teach it effectively, making sure that incentive pay becomes part of the program so that teachers stay in the program, stay committed to it, and are given the pay for the extra work. I've been on both sides of the spectrum, being in a structured English immersion classroom and in a dual language classroom, and you are servicing a lot more students, translating work, creating resources that sometimes aren't available. The appropriate resources obviously continue to be a factor. I don't think it's just LA Unified. I think it's in all districts as the program continues to grow. More importantly, I think just keeping cognizant of the fact that the program is truly beneficial, and I think everyone has buy-in into the program. The benefits of bilingualism and biliteracy is huge, especially in this competitive world. But making sure that not only the students are appropriate into the program, but teachers as well, and making sure that all the benefits, as well as the professional development and the resources are in place for the teacher and the student is crucial to the success of the program. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Superintendent, I know that we've had several conversations about the status of our DI programs. It looks like Dr. Moreno's students are doing some interesting research. When can we expect an update on our DI programming?
We can give you an update at the next board meeting and clarify some things that was said, so no problem.
That was great.
The next speaker will be Jason.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, Superintendent. I'd like to ask the audience participation for just a quick second. Bear with me because I only have 3 minutes. If everybody could stand up really quick, I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so I don't know what your guys' email address for the board is. I haven't looked yet, but do me a favor. Sit down if you do not want Google to have your social security number. Come on, did you know that Google Drive is what this district is using to share documents with all the students? Do you know what the login is? It's the social security number for all the students. Do you know what the password is? Do you know what the password is? Date of birth. Do you know how the district distributes the username and password for these websites? They print out a piece of paper and they hand them out to all the students. Do you know how I found out? I was at school. I found a piece of paper on the ground. It was Ashley Aguayo. Her social security number is 201-1186. I can't do the rest because it's illegal. The problem with that is anytime you include strata with a social security number, it's a federal offense, so I can't finish it. I went into my son's account while he was doing homework on Google Classroom. When you hover over email addresses, it shows their social security number. So I have all the social security numbers for all the children in my student's class. But my kid can go to school and go, hey, my birthday's coming up. When's your birthday? Now I have their social security number and their birth date. I can go to their parents. Hey, we're doing a little fundraiser thing at the Friday donut thing. You want to be there? What's your last name? Oh, wait a minute. Some of them are divorced, so now I have a maiden name. I have all the security features for every credit card company, every financial institution, the DMV, everything. So my issue is not that the kids in my kids' classes, but the district has approximately 72,200 students. That's 144,000 parents that have access to social security numbers and birth dates to children. Now, I have great moral turpitude. I would never submit for any illicit activity based on somebody else's security number. But there's no way that you can guarantee me that those other 143,998 parents wouldn't be as well off. So, take some time, talk to your kids, let them know the criticality of what their social security number is. Let them know that they should not ever share their birth date with anyone under any circumstances. Please, we got to do something to get rid of social security numbers on student ID numbers. State of Arizona got off of driver's license in 1986. I couldn't find when California did it, but you can't get your social security number on your license. No health insurance company puts social security information on their health insurance card. My driver's license doesn't have it. My passport doesn't have it. My Real ID doesn't have it. TWIC cards don't have it. I'd love to talk more. I'll be back for the next meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Superintendent, I saw you taking notes. Okay. Our next speaker will be Ahmed Demini.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having us. I came last month and I pleaded with the board and with Mr. Steinhauser to try to accommodate our need to where my children go to the same school, one that is a quarter mile away from our house, as opposed to a mile and a half. And I had mentioned that Zachary will go to the school that's a quarter mile away, yet his sister that's 6 years old is going to go to the one that's 1 mile and a half away, going under the 405 freeway, passing both the entrance and the exit to the 405 at Atlantic. And I forgot to mention that she will have to cross the railroad track. 6-year-old crossing the railroad track, going to some deserted areas of Long Beach that are not too, secure and safe. So I would appreciate, I haven't heard from anyone, although Mr. Steinhauser was taking some notes. I would appreciate if some action was to happen, especially the time is going by fast. And we want to know a decision because a lot is based on whether the school is going to accommodate us or not.
Thank you.
And since, there was some interesting comments by some people, I just want to say I happen to speak Arabic, Moroccan, French, Spanish, and English. I appreciated them trying to advocate for a second education. although I support such things. So, hey, I would like to include Arabic in that dual culturalism too, especially. Thank you so much. Especially, I thought of certain words that we use every day, not even knowing them, that are Arabic: alcohol, algorithm, algebra, hazard, admiral, adobe, albatross, alcove, and hazard. Maybe another 200 or 300 words. So, and to the young ladies that said something about it, my mom had me when she was 17 years old. It was a struggle. School is not for sex advocacy. School is for education. I would allocate the money to the condoms for educating abstinence. Jay Leno had memorized it beautifully when he says that his grandma used to advocate the ring before the thing. If we can allocate that money to sex education that prevents people from thinking about, getting intimate when they're going to school. School is not for intimacy or for such education. School is for education. And that's my opinion on that as a father of 3 children. And I thank you for having us over here.
Thank you. Okay, business items. Personnel, Dr. Williams.
Yes, Madam Chair. I have the personnel report prepared by our Deputy Superintendent of Education Services, Ruth Ashley, and approved by our Superintendent, Chris Steinhauser. I will read the classified portion of the report first, followed by the certificated portion. There were 68 appointments, 13 leaves of absence, 2 abandonment of positions, 1 separation, 14 resignations, 5 retirements, 18 reductions, lack of work, lack of funds, abolishments. We modified that number, lack of work, lack of funds, from 149 to 147. Rescissions, there was 1 rescission. On the certificated side, there were 53 appointments, 50 in-service changes, 8 leaves of absence, 4 release of temporary contract employees, 8 resignations, 17 retirements, and I move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Instruction?
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Finance Report A.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Finance Report B.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Business Department Report.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Purchasing and Contract Report A.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Purchasing and Contract Report B.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Superintendent items.
Madam President and members of the board, on behalf of the superintendent, I'm recommending expulsion of the following students. There are 3, and I'll take them individually. The first student is student number 7434. The student listed, or the student named, would be expelled under Education Code 48915A and would not be eligible to apply for readmission until after the end of the fall semester 2019-2020.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0.
Thank you. Second student, student number 5702. The student named would be expelled under Education Code 48915C and would not be eligible to apply for readmission until after the end of the fall semester. However, Student Placement Services has made the recommendation that this student be expelled with a consideration for a suspended expulsion with an opportunity to attend the Guidance Opportunity class at Marshall Academy of the Arts.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0.
And student number 1702, the student named would be expelled under Education Code 48915A and would not be eligible to apply for readmission until after the end of the fall semester 2019-2020.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Okay, unfinished business, we have none. New business, 2019, 2020 schedule of Board of Education meetings and workshops.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion?
I would just add the revision by the superintendent made to the dates.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Adoption of K-12 and CDC Head Start tentative agreements. Teachers Association of Long Beach. Yep.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Compensation for management and non-represented employees.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Board Policy 4112, to certification.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question, Dr. Baker. Could you clarify the changes from No Child Left Behind and how this is a revision of that?
Ms. Seki, do you want to come address the question? Thank you.
Yes, the previous policy referenced the federal requirements and No Child Left Behind. We are now under state requirements. They are equally rigorous. In addition to this policy also is the recognition that the district provides an induction program, which is the process by which our teachers clear their credential, and that is actually provided for them free of charge. There's also a mention of the National Board certification process that the district supports as well.
Thanks.
I believe it also provides for waivers in certain instances.
There is legislation that the state has set forward for our process if we need a teacher, we need to staff a teacher for a waiver. But that is not ours, that is according to Education Code.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Board Policy 5117, interdistrict attendance.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, just to clarify, this just updates our guidelines to approve interdistrict transfers, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Resolution 032719-A, considering agreement for energy conservation services with Long Beach Unified School District Solar Fund, LLC, pursuant to Government Code Section 4217.10-18, making certain findings required for approval of energy conservation services agreement.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Resolution 032719-B, giving notice of intent to dedicate easements to the City of Long Beach at Millikan High School for Building 1000 double check detector valve purposes.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. Resolution 032719-C, authorizing entering into a funding agreement with the State Water Resources Control Board and authorizing and designating a representative for the modernization projects.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 4-0. And now we're at the part where we do board reports. Kyle, welcome again. We look forward to hearing from you and what's happening at CAMS.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board, friends and family of the Long Beach Unified School District. I'm Kyle Masukawa. I'm the current ASB president at the California Academy of Mathematics and Science, and I'm humbled to be here once again and excited to share what's happening at CAMS. Since August, CAMS has held its various dress-up days throughout the holiday season, which faculty and students participated in. We have those photos up on our school page if you want to check them out. We've had our annual dance show, Bring in the Beat, which showcases the amazing dancers and the variety of dances from Bollywood, Afrobeats, contemporary, and hip-hop. We have also implemented a weekly trivia, which honors awareness months and the influential people of those months, including Black History Month and Women's History Month. It's played over the intercom, and students have the opportunity to win gift cards. With the activities going on in the second semester, our school has begun preparing for the AP season by opening the Calculus Cafe, an environment where students have access to help by tutors and Khan Academy. In addition, those who participate in the Khan Academy at the cafe have an opportunity to win an iPad, AirPods, and gift cards. Some recent accomplishments by the students has been FRC's, the first robotics competition qualification for the Worlds, the VEX robotics qualification for state and national championships, as well as the senior class's 545 college acceptance, which is still in counting. Some of the notable schools include Caltech, MIT, Johns Hopkins, Brown, Cornell, Berkeley, Olin, and Northwestern, to list a few. And we also have a student who received the Edison Scholarship. And then from the various APs to the college decisions ahead, CAM students are working hard to achieve excellence. And of course, after spring break, which is next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice. Do you have an update on your plans for next year?
Well, college is definitely in view. I've got accepted to Chapman and USF, and tomorrow I'm waiting for NYU. But yeah, so exciting.
That is exciting. Very good. Well, we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
What programs are you looking at?
Well, I'm interested in dermatology, so a lot of health science, biology. Chapman, I'm doing health sciences, and USF and NYU biology.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive.
So let's send good vibes for tomorrow, right? For good news tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the last board meeting, I neglected to report on the activity at Read Across America at Bernie. And I want to thank the principal, Luanna Wesley, and her staff for providing really an enjoyable day for all of us. I'm really not sure who enjoyed that more, me or the students. I had a really wonderful time. Read a story about the dragon who was transformed into a prince. And before I can get halfway through the story, they were already discovering the plot by saying that that dragon is going to turn into a prince. Now, I asked them, had they read the story before? And they said, no, we're just very perceptive, Dr. Williams. But a good group. We had a great time that day, and we all got a chance to take pictures together. Just recently attended a concert involving our Harmony Project at the Long Beach Poly High School. And it was an amazing performance by the kids. And it was absolutely packed, that entire auditorium. There were 4 performances that were done by each level. I'm describing them as levels. First year students who were current, all the way up to students who had been in the program for 4 years. And they performed admirably at all levels. The new students performed Bach, a project by Bach. The second year students performed the program by Mozart. The third year by Beethoven, And this one I have a heck of a time pronouncing. Tchaikovsky?
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, okay. Then they all came together for a final, and it was an amazing performance. I was reminded by Margaret, the lady who first introduced this project to us, that I had challenged her on the assumption that kids who were involved in music and some of the other schools where she started this program saw a dramatic change in their grades, attitudes, and all of this. Now, these kids have to come in on a Saturday pretty much in practice. And to see that level of continuity in this program was pretty impressive. She asked me again after the performance, what did I think? I had to admit that she was right. I was wrong. This program is making a remarkable difference in all of our kids. So kudos to the Harmony program and all of our folks, our music director who was there to help coordinate it, all the volunteers and all the folks who are part of that amazing performance. And as I mentioned before, the auditorium was packed to the limit. But again, it was an amazing performance by our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Dr. Benitez.
Just a couple of items to report on, Madam President. I wanted just to share my appreciation for everyone that gave a presentation at our two-day board workshop. I always am amazed by all of the scope and the breadth of all of the work that our district is doing in partnership with many of our community organizations. So thank you to everyone that participated in our last 2 days here. I also wanted to share that I had a chance to visit our Male Student Academy at Franklin a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to give props to our Male Student Academy staff that's, doing wonderful work with our young men of color in the district. So if anyone is not familiar with the great program, I'd ask you to check that out, and our female academies as well. And then last thing is we had an LCAP presentation yesterday. President Craighead, Board Member Kerr, and I had an opportunity to participate in the last forum. I would just encourage our community members, students, and parents to be on the lookout for upcoming LCAP forums. These are our local control accountability plans that make sure that our district does right by our LCFF funding. And so we have many opportunities for our community members to participate and give input and recommendations that help then guide the decisions of the board and how we implement our funding stream. So my appreciation to everyone that helped put that LCAP forum on, and everyone that came out and participated in that. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That's good. Okay, Mr. Meyer.
I'll save my report, thanks.
Okay, well then I'll try and make mine quick. I know we've had a couple of long days and a lot of wonderful information, but I do want to highlight some people, and I thought I saw Cindy Bader here earlier. Maybe that was this morning, I don't remember, but I was invited to participate with the Sim Lab, and this is an activity for our kids involved in medical pathways at Lakewood Poly and Sato, and this happens in collaboration with Long Beach Memorial Hospital, and we have a Lakewood teacher, Mr. Aaron Volkoff, who volunteers to be a patient, and can I just say that he really has no limits as to what he will do for these students, for their education. He poses as a homeless person who's been brought to the emergency room, and with technology being what it is, they actually have a thing that comes out of a package that creates a smell that, I don't think I have to say more about that. But anyhow, he does that so that he can train students in what to look for when you're interviewing somebody who's been brought in, and it's more than just what medications they've taken, but really that full experience. So thank you to Mr. Volkov, because I don't know how many teachers would do that, but he does a great job with it. Also, at Cabrillo, fabulous things are happening always, and there's a teacher, Mrs. Lasco, and she, for the past 5 years, has been taking a group of students to visit Caltech in Pasadena, and she takes kids that maybe wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to, visit campuses like that. And this year, there is a Cabrillo student who was awarded a $400,000 scholarship to Caltech from Cabrillo, and probably one of the, that's Angel Menendez, so I hope that's okay if I congratulate him publicly, but he has had challenges, including being a homeless student. So for him to work so hard and to be paired with teachers like Mrs. Lasco, who goes out of her way to support students, this is what can happen, is he now not only has aspirations of attending a fabulous, institution, but he's going there, and he's got a scholarship, so he's on his way. I'm sure his future is very bright. I was able to meet him, interestingly enough, at a Women in STEM luncheon, and I would like to thank Mr. Fisher, who, with his team, creates this whole luncheon for the students. It's mostly the female students, but also there are male students that serve the lunch and wait on everybody, and they have not just community partners, but other people that come in and contribute to that. And then finally, I attended the wheelchair soccer featuring the Flying Tigers. That was very exciting. This is a sporting activity not to be missed. We have the wingmen who maneuver the wheelchairs, and all the wheelchairs are outfitted with, I think it's plastic, but it reminds me of like a cow catcher on a train, if I can be a little old-timey like that. And so the wingmen maneuver the wheelchairs. The soccer ball is a little bit bigger, and this was so inclusive. It wasn't just the kids participating as the athletes, but this involves our program at Tucker, the ACT, is it, Tiffany, help me out, adult community transition. Okay, we always have so many acronyms, and honestly, thank you, Tiffany. So our adult, darn it, community, yeah, well, okay. It's been a long day, sorry. We had students participate, and that's our 18 to 22, those are our 18 to 22-year-olds. They participate as the cheerleaders, they're the athletes, they're in the audience. We had family members there, staff members. It was a great event. So that's all for me. How about Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, thank you, and I want to also thank everyone who presented over the last 2 days. It's always great information, so folks who watch this meeting on TV also watch the board workshops on TV. Great education. And just a note of information, so because we live in this great country, our freedom of speech is the backbone of our democracy, so individuals can come to public meetings and say things that may or may not be true. And so, and because we cannot speak to items that are not agendized, people wonder about that sometimes. However, under superintendent's report, I am going to ask Dr. Lund to come up and speak about some information that was presented in our public testimony, so that we can clarify some things that were not accurate.
I'm assuming you're referring to the
about
collection
about the Google Docs, yes.
Yeah, Social Security numbers. We don't collect any Social Security numbers within the district for enrollment purposes or any other purposes. So as part of enrollments, that's not part of our enrollment process. Our Google IDs are based on our student ID. It is a 9-digit ID, but it is not a Social Security number. The default password when students do set up that Google account is their birthday. Students are encouraged to change that password once they have that, once they've set up their account.
And I would just also like to say, we take the security and the privacy at the utmost, and folks do a great job. And we always have to keep ahead of the game because there are hackers from all over the world. I don't know if you just saw, Facebook just took down 2,800 accounts, 2,000 from Russia and about 800 from Iran. So there are always people out there who are bright, who are trying to beat the system, but we have people here who are trying to beat them. So your accounts are safe. You hopefully will be accepted to NYU. So, and that's why we do it, so you can go where you want. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that addition. It's unusual that we do something like that, but I think in this case it was critical. Okay, are there any announcements?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes, I have a couple of announcements, but I do want to go back. There's one thing I neglected to report on, and I think this is very important. A while back, we developed a partnership with the College of Education at Cal State University Long Beach to grow our own teachers, teachers of color. And based on an earlier report by Ruth Ashley and then a number of teachers who were teaching in our primary grades, we saw a big gap. And I, of course, wanted to understand why we couldn't get those numbers up. And after further investigation, discovered that they were not applying for teaching positions in our colleges and universities. I even reached out to our people at the Council of the Great City Schools that represents 74 of the nation's largest school districts for their help. And the report came back that they were all over the country. These kids were not applying for teaching positions. So with Chris's help, we did develop a partnership with the College of Education at Cal State Long Beach. I serve on that committee. David Zaid's part of that group. And there are a number of other folks who are part of that group. We've met probably 6 times already. We've identified a strategy for recruiting teachers, looking initially at the initial cohort of 2 graduate students who are currently enrolled in teacher education, and recruiting 3 additional students as part of that cohort who are currently students who have their bachelor's degrees. We have to raise money for that, and the initial budget is $50,000. I have in front of me a letter from Parker and Covert LLP, who's one of the legal teams that represents our district, that just came today, and was addressed to David Zaid, response to request for participation in the Teacher for Urban Schools program. This correspondence is a response to your proposal in inviting our firm to support the Teacher for Urban Schools program. The partners of Parker and Covert have received your proposal, and by unanimous consensus, our law firm accepts your invitation to actively participate in this program by providing funding in the amount of $10,000 per year for 5 years. We want to thank you for giving our firm the opportunity to participate. Please provide additional information with regards to how the financial participation should be sent to the district. Very truly yours, Douglas Yeaman and Steve Montanez. And I want to really thank those folks for helping us get this project off the ground. That's one piece. And on Saturday, the Long Beach Unity Festival, a program we have worked with for a number of years that really works with our students to bring these kids together in the area of the arts, music, and that kind of thing. We'll be having their annual event this Saturday at Cabrillo High School. And in my conversation with Steve and his wife, Stephanie, who run this program, they have really engaged, again, this community to come out for this event. This program was started years ago because of an incident in, I can't think of the area in the city, but It was a incident between African-American students and white students, and this program has tried to heal that divide all these years by having these kids come together every year, and they do have a mixed group of kids coming together in the arts and music. So that program is this Saturday. And on Sunday, I believe, the Cesar Chavez celebration at Chavez Elementary School. Yeah.
That's a good transition. Can I
There
give
you go.
an announcement?
Take it.
Yeah. So from 11 to 2 this Saturday, Sunday, the 31st, Chavez Elementary School is hosting a Cesar Chavez Day of Celebration. So if you're interested in coming out and participating and celebrating the contributions of one of our key civil rights leaders in this country, Cesar Chavez, come out and join us. I think the superintendent, you'll be there, right, as well, and other district staff and school staff. And I think we end on a good note with Cesar Chavez, one of our most widely known civil rights monikers, Si Se Puede, right? So yes, thank you, Dr. Williams, for the smooth transition there to the announcement.
You owe me one. And I'm checking on this one. It's on my schedule, but is there a career fair at Cabrillo on April 2?
April 2nd.
April 2nd, from 9 to 11.
Okay, any more announcements? How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, thank you for being here, everyone.